sorts of sports fields, and Matilda's is the very okay. Alrighty. Okay.
Let's go!
The final day of the 2025 NPL Victoria season is upon us, and it is here at the home of the Matildas where one of the last remaining chapters, still remaining unwritten, unfinished, will be decided, and that is the finals race, because it is here in Bundoora at the home of Football Victoria where the already relegated Melbourne Victory will look to spoil the party for a Dandenong City side hoping to make the finals for the second time in as many seasons. A draw or a win should be enough for Nick Tolios' side to go back-to-back with post-season success. A reality that didn't seem particularly likely, or not many would have predicted rather, when they first arrived into or returned to the competition in 2024. But with Hume City a few points behind them and with a vastly inferior goal difference, it is Dandenong City most certainly in the box seat to pip Hume City to that finals position. They arrive into this game, of course, riding high, having sent one of their sister clubs to the second tier, a 7-1 statement win against the Melbourne Knights at Frank Holohan last week. One of the other teams who will join Melbourne Victory in the second tier of Victorian state football next season fires them up for a massive final day encounter. They know exactly what they have to do. Hajduk win, and they are guaranteed a draw, and it's almost a certainty they have a 12-goal advantage on Hume City sitting in 7th, while a loss means it will depend on Hume's result out at St Albans, where Hume will need to win if they are going to snatch that last final spot from the visiting side today. The hosts, of course, their fate already decided, but looking to go out on a high, a team who will not have been happy with the results they've pulled in over the course of the season, Melbourne Victory, but for the neutral observer, they have been good fun to watch. Plenty of their games have been entertaining, high-scoring encounters, no shortage of those coming here at the home of the Matildas, and they will look to farewell NPL Victoria with a positive and potentially party-spoiling result today, having spoiled Hume City's party a little bit last week. They secured their first come-from-behind victory of season 2025 last week against Hume. Patrick Wall, the hero, with a second-half goal, and he's got a few new faces alongside him in the 11 today. 4 changes made by Boris Sorostan for this afternoon's fixture, which of course is running concurrently to all of the final day games in NPL Victoria, and we are underway for a massive final day. It is Melbourne Victory who get us started. And we'll run through those 4 changes to the Victory lineup. Casper Fonsbol comes in to the sticks, replacing Daniel Graskowski. Joining him to Ben Abani is restored to the starting 11 alongside Daniel Lazarevski, while there is a return to the Victory NPL side for one of their talented scholarship players in Kane Razmovsky. The upshot of those changes, of course, Daniel Graskowski out of the squad today. Parker Williams, having picked up his 5th yellow card in the penultimate round, misses out. Lucas Alessi drops to the bench, and Linus Burke, unfortunately, will play no further part in season 2025, and sadly for him, not much further part in football at all for the next little while. News breaking that he's sustained a long-term injury in the aftermath of that win against Hume last week. So we send our thoughts to him as Victory look to break away through Patrick Wall. Across it comes for James Lackey. Good Victory play party spoilers here. It's turned out of danger that time by the Dandenong City defence. So a first corner test for the Dandy defence of the afternoon. The sun shining, beautiful weather for football here at the home of the Matildas. And of course, look to keep you abreast of all the other score lines this afternoon as the corner is driven away by City's back line. Here it comes for Kane Razmovsky. Paikopoulos with a searching ball headed clear. And that one will drop at the lap of Kenny Athiu, who sets a task for a forward runner. Kenny Athiu looking to head into the finals with fine goal-scoring form. A hat-trick last week in that 7-1 demolition of the Melbourne Knights. A wild fixture, not least because of the scoreline and the historical significance, but also the fact that there wasn't any of those 8 goals inside the opening 30 minutes. It took a long time to open the scoring, and then the floodgates opened. Victory, the brighter of the 2 starters thus far. Up and under from Danny Kim. Nicely laid down. And the first time shot is not a bad one from Will Bauer. It's easy pickings in the end for Casper Fonsboll. Bauer, another of those scorers against the Melbourne Knights last week. His 5th of the campaign. First since the 31st of March, so it was a long time between drinks for him. And interesting that Dandenong City haven't made any changes to their 11 today. Of course, final day of the season, hopeful of playing finals. You could have maybe expected them to make a couple of changes, rest a few players, but Bill Theodoropoulos, who is leading these Dandenong City Chargers today in the absence of Nick Tolios, hasn't elected to do so. Of course, as we mentioned, the job far from done for Hajduk. They must get a result today to guarantee it. Unless, of course, Hume City suffer defeat around the grounds. There's the right idea from Latham in the direction of Will Bauer. Fonsboll again swiftly off his line. In today, Casper Fonsboll for just his 4th appearance of season 2025. He made his debut here at the home of the Matildas a couple of months ago against Melbourne Victory in round 21. Nice play this by Patrick Wall. Good run from Lazarevski to open up a bit of ground, but in the end, the Hajduk midfield markers able to make their presence felt. Latham carrying it in the opposite direction. And has Bauer stayed onside? The answer is yes. Athiu, the target in the middle, he won't be found. Good defending in the end by the Victory back line. At the concession, of course, of a Dandenong City corner. Taken short by Heidel. Lifted into the box, but it's only Victory heads that meet it. It's Jack Webster putting his hands to his face. And whether it was his own run or the accuracy or lack thereof of the cross, he certainly seems to think that could have been a far greater opportunity for Heidel than perhaps others might have given it credit. Challenge from Will Bauer on Kane Razmovsky. Melbourne Victory, of course, hoping to find a final day positive in an otherwise frustrating and disappointing campaign of NPL Victoria football. History, if they are to do that today, is not exactly on their side. These two have met not very often in NPL Victoria, but in the second tier where both of them have emerged from in recent years. And it is a head-to-head record that is not particularly kind to Melbourne Victory. 5 previous meetings. Dandenong City winning all but one. The other, unfortunately for Victory, ending in a draw all the way back in 2015. The City 3-1 winners last time these two met at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. But a game that City did not have all their own way. They did have to come back from behind to win that one after Patrick Wall opened the scoring. Lifted into the box and repelled by Bosanovsky. Webster. Decent ball by Atharinos at full stretch. And it's able to be dealt with by young John Pykopoulos. A clear intent, though, from that front three to feed King Kenny for what would be a dozen goals for him in just a fantastic season from the NPL Victoria veteran. As that one is knocked out of play, or out of danger from Victory's penalty area. John Kellis just missing this one. Now this is filtered wide to Athew. It's not the place where King Kenny wants to be in these situations, and indeed he eventually retreats to Corey Sewell. Gaku Inaba. So his run of goals in back-to-back games come to an end last week. He was one of the few players who couldn't manage to find the target against the Knights last week. Bauer. He's been a busy boy so far this afternoon. It's a lovely step inside. The shot is blocked. Will it sit here for Chesnick? That's blocked as well. And eventually, Victory. Ball in, Athew the target. Is it going to drop here in the penalty area for a shot? Nearly, and then Stool on the volley. Bends wide of goal. Fons ball forward. It was a hot football. Chesnick shifts it wide. A little bit more opening to work with for City this time, but the end result the same. Another deflected cross out of play for a Dandenong City corner. Flat delivery, well shaped as well, and it should have been the opener. Not for the first time. Dandenong City player Jack Webster, the same player in fact, with his head in his hands in the penalty area. That delivery was right on the money. Unfortunately, the NPL Victoria super veteran, its leading all-time appearance maker, couldn't make the difference. Saul. Matthew. Is there a pullback from the Victory defence there? Oh, no whistle from today's referee, Jack Morgan, and out of play. Back to Webster, who was not far away in search of that opening goal. The early cross, Matthew the target, just drops too short for him and stabbed away by George Mihalidis. They don't often get to make mid-season signings. The academy teams don't necessarily have the same operating systems and budgets as their competitors. Of course, does go some way to explaining why Victory find themselves in the position they do this season, but George Mihalidis, one of those mid-season signings, returning to the club. Delicate cutback, top of the box. Is that going to sit for Sewell? It's taken off his toes. Latham now. Space opening up for Jamie Latham. Just pulls the shot. They are adding to their shot tally, Dandenong City, but Casper Fonsbol as yet to be forced into a save of any consequence. They've already had some goals around the grounds on this final day of NPL Victoria football. Turner Magic taking the lead against Melbourne Knights at Summer Street. And Green Gully in the lead against Avondale. That could be absolutely massive in the context of the premiership race. And here in the finals race remains Dandenong City in the ascendancy. Not on the score sheet today, of course, still goalless after 14 minutes played. But a draw will get the job done, unless Hume City are able to beat St Albans something in the region of 11 or 12-0. Early cross over the head of Matthew. Rushing in was Latham. And Dandenong City are going to try and switch the locus of the attack here through Webster. Bending ball. Matthew rises it straight into the arms of Fonsbol. That's the service King Kenny wants. And unfortunately for his teammates, he cannot respond with the requisite contact to turn it past the Victory goalkeeper. If you've got the asset, why not use it? Really has been such a tremendous campaign for Kenny Matthew. Rolling back the years, only 33, but certainly at the back end of the career. And this in NPL Victoria, of course, he spent a while away, but 8 goals last season, 11 for the campaign. That's his best figure since he was winning golden boots in this competition. Strong challenge from Razmovsky to take that one away from Will Bauer. So up marches Corey Sewell for the throw. NPL Victoria appearance number 161 today for him. He's looking to find a crossing angle here and does so. Clearance taken only as far as off the crossbar. That would have been special. Welsh wizardry. A lick of paint away. And now Victory come the other way. Is the break on? They haven't had a look in for minutes. And they go close in their own right. Oh, chaos out of nowhere at the home of the Matildas. Jack Morgan has brought about a stoppage in play here. Yeah, that ball's no good. Be making use of another here at the home of the Matildas. I would imagine that again, I'm no scientist. I don't really have great knowledge of the laws of aerodynamics and force. But I could imagine a ball getting thwacked against the crossbar and then thwacked against the post in very quick succession could make some difference to the air pressure. Giannakopoulos up the line once and then twice. Kenny Afiu giving chase forlornly back at the feet of Fons Bowl. Both goals out of nowhere, suddenly living a more charmed life. As who did that come off finally? It was a Victory defender. And so it's a corner, a fourth of the afternoon inside the opening 20 minutes for Dandenong City. Just to reiterate the state of play for those who may not have joined us right on kickoff, but Dandenong City currently in prime position for the finals position. Win or a draw should get it done for them as in comes the corner. Rising again was Webster. Athew at the second time of asking. It's a superb save from Fons Bowl to deny Hajduk the opener. King Kenny is closing in on the game's opening goal. Dandenong City are too. Fons Bowl could do nothing about some of the previous wide headers. The shot off the post from Latham brought out the best there. Bent in unsuccessfully. On the Dandenong City left from Atharinos. Long throw here from Dandenong City. Dabbed up, but not away. It was begging for a firm strike. It didn't get one that time. Well, given the quality of chances we've had in the last couple of minutes, it's a wonder that we are still awaiting an opener here at the home of the Matildas. One of 5 final day fixtures still awaiting an opener. Avondale have equalised out at Green Gully. Now another twist in the final day premiership race, of course. Heidelberg still a mathematical chance of taking it. Victory not going to be able to build an attack here. James Lackey just losing his footing at the crucial moment. Mihalidis, wide foot to Bena Abani. Played more minutes than any other Victory player this season. And receives the second ball, drives it across the box. It's stabbed away by Gaku Inaba. He's trying to make himself a nuisance. Victory with the defensive numbers, and Foxbolt off the line to send that one away. And could it break the other way for Victory? Lazarevsky opening up an angle, shifting the ball across. And the shot in the end, not the best. Dandenong City getting their bodies in the way. George Mihalidis loses out. Bit of panic opens up in the middle for Dandenong City. Giannakopoulos. And that's an offside flag that is going to get the better of that particular Dandenong City attack. Razmovsky. Play off the quadricep of Daniel Lazarevsky. Back into the starting 11 today for 15th appearance of the season. Second top goal scorer for the Victory this season behind Patrick Wall. Two of the bright sparks in attack for Victory this season. Patrick Wall in particular really caught the eye since scoring on his senior debut against Port Melbourne. Bauer has been busy. Left-footed ball, a decent one, but again, it can only find a navy blue shirt. Did that come off a hand? Well, Lazarevsky continues unperturbed. Now the support arrives. It's Daniel Lazarevsky. It's just wide. That would have been a massive controversy had that one rippled the back of the net. Pierce Clark and Jack Webster apoplectic with the referees. They thought that for absolute certain Daniel Lazarevsky had taken advantage of the arm to steer that one to his advantage. And Pierce Clark and his Dandenong City defence are a fraction lucky that that one was, well, from their perspective, the right side of the post. The loss would not be curtains by any stretch to City's finals hopes. Also, a one-goal advantage for Victory would not necessarily mean a win for Melbourne Victory. They've not been the best side at defending leads this season. More goals in their games than just about any other teams this season. 36 scored, 57 conceded. Total of 94 in their games. But they are one of the league's entertainers. Only St Albans and Melbourne Knights have seen more goals scored in fixtures that they've featured in this season. But even so, Dandenong City, they want to shore things up, would rather be in a position of advantage than disadvantage. Victory able to manage that defensive situation despite some menace on the edge of the Dandenong City penalty area. They've been a very strong side on the road this year, Dandenong City. They've only lost twice all year away from Frank Holohan, and in the first half of the season, when results at their previously happy hunting ground were few and far between, their strong away form was the only thing, or was the main thing, keeping them really competitive and in the hunt. But they've managed to turn that form around out in Endeavour Hills, which has allowed them to gain ground on Hume City as they've started in form. I mean, it is easy to forget, given the position that the respective 14 teams find themselves in on the final day, that 2/3 of the way through the season, the top 6 looked all but sewn up. The likes of Dandenong City, Gully, the other teams on the fringes of the top 6 were miles off the pace. As many as 7 points away from Hume. It looked a sure thing. This is going to break for a few. Can he find a teammate across? Atharinos was lurking. But Victory again able to conspire to clear through Bozanovsky. Abani. Finds Gorevsky. Victory. And they've been on the back foot for the better part of 20 minutes. They've shown some transitional threat. It's looking like a game plan that may suit them. Lazarevsky inside, Webster with a half touch away. And then his teammates able to conspire to really make it a sure thing of a clearance. So long as Dandenong City cannot find the opening goal of this game, the pattern where they take the bulk of the possession and Victory can break, and the early evidence suggests that that could be a game plan that suits them. But here come Dandenong City in the opposite direction with numbers to work with and a question to answer in the eyes of some here at the home of the Matildas. But no, that illegal slide challenge, and Jack Morgan signalling for a Dandenong City corner. Good gut running that time by Will Bauer on the breakaway. And speaking of breaking away, Altona are 3-0 up against Melbourne Knights with half an hour played there. Oakley and Heidelberg have taken the lead against South and Port respectively. As we await the opener here. Corner swung in. Again, the target to the back post. Abiu flicks off the post. And again, Dandenong City bash at the door of Melbourne Victory's defence without finding the opener. And again, Athiu is the man who goes close. And luck's of fortune for Melbourne Victory. They've had a good chance of their own to open the scoring, but that's 2 off the post now. One fantastic header save by Casper Fonsbol. On another day, they could well be behind. And Kenny Athiu will be not best pleased that he has not added to his tally of goals against Victory. Of course, it's been a long time since his last one. He'd score both home and away against them for Heidelberg back in Victory's last trip to the top flight in 2016. Of course, he has played for Melbourne Victory at A-League level in the years since. May get another chance from this Latham free kick, which is well shaped too. It drops at the top of the box, and the shot from Bauer is into the side netting. Well, Bill Theodoropoulos, the stand-in head coach, the assistant coach leading proceedings today, watching on the sidelines, and their head coach, Nick Tolias, potentially watching on today on the live stream. Hello to you, Nick, if you are watching from far-flung European destination will be scratching their heads as to how Dandenong City are not in front. Half an hour played. Dandenong City have hit 2 of the 3 pieces of the post of the goal frame so far. One off the crossbar from Latham. The right-hand post from Kenny Athiu with that header seconds ago. With a couple of other promising off-target and save chances in between. They are doing everything right, save for the finishing touch. And a result of a couple of untoward touches in the middle of the park has sent Daniel Lazareski to the turf and now off the field with a bit of a limp. Looks as though he'll be all good to keep on going, as Victory will defend with 10 for the present moment. Chesnick directing traffic in front of him. Inaba. Try the opposite side. And his pass, not his best effort. Webster in to deal with the danger. The call from the benches. That's all right, Tommy. They wanted him to go in and win the seconds. He won them. Unfortunately, couldn't keep the ball in play in his efforts to do so. Been another solid season in NPL Victoria for the man they call Tommy G at Heidelberg. Or at Hajduk, I should say, not at Heidelberg, of course. Sophomore season of NPL Victoria since coming across from the Adelaide Comets. Still only 22 years of age. You wouldn't know it from looking at him out there on the field. Very popular player out at Frank Holohan. I know that the Tommy G fan club is in existence in the Dandenong City support. That membership in the dozens. It would be such a miraculous feat for this Hajduk team to make the finals. Well, in some senses, make the finals as a standalone achievement, given how far away that looked at various points this season. But to make it in back-to-back years, having played in the second tier of state football 2 years ago, is seriously a testament to the job that the coaching and playing staff do with this team. As far as I know, I don't think another newly promoted side have ever made the final straight out of the gate. And of course that push towards finals again has been helped by a consistency. And look at the squad that takes the field for Dandy City today. We might just hold on that as a moment, as that's pushed across and pushed too far for Lackey. Attack still alive for the victory. Oh, lovely from James Lackey. To the byline he goes, and the cutback turned out for a Melbourne victory corner. But brilliant flashes of quality from the 18-year-old James Lackey. Still awaiting his first goal or assist at senior NPL level. Former Green Gully junior. A member of the Bayern Munich World Squad in 2024. In comes the corner from Michaelides, and the header is well wide in the end. And that's just victory, continuing to give Dandenong City something. Perhaps not as much as they would like, but something to think about at the opposite end of the field here at the home of the Matildas. As yet, though, Pierce Clark yet to be called into action with the gloves. Latham. First comes Gorevsky to try and cut him down. We'll quickly shift it across to Will Bauer. Giannakopoulos. An early ball side-footed away by Paikopoulos. Nipping at the heels of a multitude of Dandenong City players there was Daniel Lazarevsky, and in the end Jack Morgan did take exception to it. "36 minutes played, now 37, right on the dot. Still goalless here in Bundoora, but it hasn't been for lack of trying from a Dandenong City perspective. 2 shots off the goal frame, 1 fantastic save from Casper Fonsbol and a back post header wide from Jack Webster. But everything's still trending in the right direction for Dandy City as the early ball, Athieu with a bit of a miscue on the header. And then, goodness gracious, for a left back, he can really hit them. Doesn't score often, Corey Sewell, just 9 NPL Victoria goals in now 161 NPL Victoria appearances, as we mentioned, but within that lot, what he may lack in quantity of goal, he definitely makes up for in quality. Wonderful technical player. Scored a nice volley for his only goal of this season against South Melbourne. And another a couple of seasons ago, very similar to that against Oakley at Jack Edwards, back when he was playing for the Melbourne Knights in 2023. Making the move from the sister club this season. It's proved to be a fairly prescient move on the part of the Queenslander. Athieu. Switching pass looked like it would open up space for Cesnik to roam, but it wasn't to be. Jamie Latham did well to keep that one alive. I wonder if it might have caught him in a sensitive area, the way he reacted. Giannakopoulos. Therinos. Robbed of the ball. Barney able to make the clearance. Oh, that's a lovely pass inside for Bauer. Maybe he wasn't expecting what was coming his way. Still continuing to probe Dandy City without much fortune in the last couple of drives. Eventually forced to just launch it long, and it's going to stay in play. It is going to stay in play for Kenny Athieu. This could be a real opening for Dandenong City if they play their cards right. Atherinos cuts it inside, and it's headed away by Damian Bozanovsky, and then more emphatically cleared in the victory midfield. Oh, just rode the line perfectly from Clark. Another drive down the right flank. The ball in at the back post. Latham heads it across. Dandenong City finally get the desired outcome. After 40 minutes of trying, the dam wall does eventually break. And it is from those wide crossing positions where the difference is made. It is Hajduk with 1 foot in the finals as things stand. And it was lovely play to make it happen. Header across goal from Latham after the initial delivery was slightly overhit. And then the snap reaction from Will Bauer to turn it in, and he, having waited a long time to break his goal drought from the end of March to last week, so the middle of August, looks to have bagged himself a second goal in as many games.
That's a good pass. Come on now.
And here is Bauer, taken to the turf. That will be just the tonic for Dandy City. And we'll have to have a bit of an insurance policy. They went from that corner though. Fairly lackluster delivery in the end. It's a familiar feeling for the young Vucks. It's the 14th time this NPL Victoria season that they have conceded the game's opening goal. And it's Latham trying to get in on the act. At the top of the box, Danny Kim with a bit of a swing and a miss. And then Atharinos. Oh, wow, that would have been something special. It took a touch en route. And so Dandenong City will get a corner. Now they are threatening some cracking goals here. Outside of the box are Hajduk. Perhaps they can play with a bit more freedom, having taken the lead of this game at long last on the 40th minute mark. Corner sent in, it goes through all the bodies in the middle. In the end, but Victory finding themselves up against it a little bit here. Out to Latham. Can he turn provider once more? No, the cutback read well. High wall. Sort of response to Victory have here. Into stoppage time of the first half we go. Of course, there is nothing to play for. Their fate's already decided, but there is something to be said for pride and for finishing on a high note in this topsy-turvy season that they have had. And while the other end of the field, the defensive end, has proved the problem area for them, keeping teams out at the other bay, they have been pretty good value for goals. Only one game goalless in their last 8. And this could be a massive opening for Dandenong City to make it a second. And it's going to be walked in. Easy as you like. They will get their insurance policy after a victory mix-up. And it's Jamie Latham with goals in back-to-back games as well. And seconds after he set up Will Bauer for the opener, Jamie Latham is in on the act. And that is the final act of the first half. And it is all smiles for the side from Endeavour Hills. They can just about book their ticket to the first week of finals, which, as things stand, would be a Dandenong Derby elimination bout with the third place Thunder. And in truth, it's a 2-0 lead that they certainly deserve prior to the first goal. So let's
Prove the fixture are able to enjoy the match in a safe and comfortable environment. Accordingly, each person present at an FV fixture must respect the decisions of match officials, respect the rights, dignity and worth of every person, regardless of their race, colour, religion, language, politics, national or ethnic origin, not engage in the use of violence in any form, whether it is by other spectators, team officials including coaches, or players, not engage in discrimination, harassment or abuse in any form, whether lawful or otherwise, including but not limited to the use of obscene or offensive language or gestures, the incitement of hatred or violence, or partaking in indecent or racist chanting. Complying with the FD's conditions of entry at all venues and any ticket conditions. Not carry, light or throw flares or missiles, including onto the field of play or at other spectators. Not enter the field of play or its surroundings without movement of authority, and conduct themselves in a manner that enhances rather than injures the reputation and goodwill of FV, Football Federation Australia, and football generally. Any person who does not comply with this code, or who is in the opinion of the club and or FV, causes or attempts to cause, or is reasonably likely to cause disturbance, may be evicted on the behalf of FV. Any offender who then breaches the ban order against them may be charged with trespass and subject to further penalties and sanctions, including the possibility of further legal action. Thank you.
Welcome back to the home of the Matildas for final day NPL Victoria season 2025 action. Of course, the final day of the regular season, but for at least one of these two sides here in Melbourne's north, it is not looking like the full final day of the season, because as things stand, Dandenong City are 2-0 to the good and have 1 foot in the finals. 3 points today will absolutely guarantee that they will enter the first week of the finals. And as things currently sit around the grounds, play Dandenong Thunder in a Dandy Derby eliminator next week. But the job is not totally done against an already relegated Melbourne Victory side. Victory playing for pride and nothing more, but looking to fight back here. Yes, that's a nice touch and turn by Lazarevsky. Was he legged? Well, the answer is no in the eyes of Jack Morgan. And Dandenong City can come in the opposite direction. Try for Bauer to get a few! King Kenny is on the board with an air of inevitability.
Dandenong City.
Finally, he makes his mark on this contest. 3 to the good are Dandenong City. King Kenny with a dozen for the season. And Dandenong City, at this point now, you would have to think, are going marching into finals with a big win under their belt. That will be sweet relief for the NPL Victoria goal scorer extraordinaire. A couple of glorious chances to get one in the first half. Denied by Fonsbol. Denied by the woodwork on another occasion. This time, nothing that either of those could do. And after 8 years of wait, if you'll allow me to be a little tongue-in-cheek, King Kenny has scored against the Victory Youth again.
Oh, here we go.
Well, that is kept alive. This could be dangerous. A few again. No, it's into the arms of Fonsbol. Well, perhaps Kenny a few taken by surprise by that one. I wasn't expecting to fall out to him after Tabena Rabani lost his footing in a dangerous part of the penalty area. That's a lovely ball through the lines, it must be said, for the halftime substitute, Alessi. And Lackey's just going to run out of steam as he looks to keep that one in. If you didn't join us in the first 45, Dandenong City took their sweet time to find the opening goal in this game, but eventually the dam wall did break after a lot of huffing and puffing from Hajduk. Will Bauer opening the scoring in the 40th minute before Jamie Latham rounded Casper Fonsbol to double the tally right before, in fact, I say right before the halftime break. I think it may actually have been the final kick of the first half. And then they've gone and smashed in goals either side of the half, because if you took too long on your tea break, you've missed the third. Kenny a few, 12th of the season, after it was put on a platter for him by Will Bauer. And Hajduk are in the groove, and they are all but locked in for 6th spot. Only a draw or a loss would give Hume City a sniff today, and that would require a Herculean effort from this Victory side, who, has to be said, have played this one in parts like a team who know that their race in this competition is run. There's been no shortage of goals over the journey when these two have met. 20 goals in total from 4 head-to-head meetings. Oh, what a ball from Matthew Abani. It was an unconvincing touch. Atharinos was thinking about lashing it, now does. And lashes wide. concerning sign for the victory is that Hajduk are looking far more likely to add to their advantage than Victory are to pull one back. And so if the goal fest is to continue, the worrying sign is that it could be a fairly one-sided goal fest, as has been the case in previous head-to-head meetings before. Dandenong City have beaten Victory 5-0 and 5-1 in the second tier of state football in the past. They've picked off another here. Latham for a few. Just past the toes of Jamie Latham, falls perfectly at the feet of Charlie Gorevsky. Gorevsky again. Just couldn't bring it under his spell. Patrick Wall on the left-hand side isn't going to receive that ball. Down went John Kellis in the middle for Victory. Had a great combination down this left flank of Will Bauer and Jamie Latham. You do wonder as well, whilst here they come again at the top of the box. A few. Latham, the side footer, just really lacking the purchase to trouble Casper Fonsbol, who gets Victory on their way quickly. You have to wonder if and or when Bill Theodoropoulos may think about potentially resting some of his experienced stars in the lead up to what shapes as a blockbuster Dandy Derby next week. What a first week of finals. If the full-time whistles were to sound across the ground, we would have next week. Dandenong Thunder would host their crosstown rivals at George Andrews. And these are two positions that could still switch, but Preston Lions and Oakley would face off. As it stands, Oakley would host. Wall. The bombing on run came from a Barney. Victory looking to get one back the other way. And John Kellis going to grab his second goal since coming up to the senior side, that time around the 19-year-old. Scored his debut goal on the 2nd of August against the other side of Dandenong, the Thunder. But he does have a very strong bench to call on. Bill Theodoropoulos, the stand-in head coach today, has since confirmed that head coach Nick Tolios is indeed watching from abroad in Greece. Great to have esteemed company on the live stream today. As Victory try to play their way out of danger. And the flick is well intentioned, but not to the advantage of any teammates. Just to whip through those available substitutes for Dandy City, should Bill Theodoropoulos choose to turn to them. The outfielders, Brad Plant, Diego Cuba, Donny Gurdich, Jackson Lino, and the returning Yagub Mustafa, who has been absent from the side since early August. Therinos inside to Kim. And Chesnick looking to wrap his boot around this one, but bodied really nicely in the end by Patrick Wall. It's an only momentary relent for the young Vucks. Kim. Webster. Carinos, I think we just caught a bit betwixt and between there, and in the end it's fairly harmlessly out for a Melbourne victory goal kick. And those defensive issues that have plagued victory this season have reared their head again today, particularly on goals 2 and 3, but goal 2 especially. It was just a hopeful long ball, a deep one from Kenny Athieu that totally did that Melbourne victory defensive unit for a sixer. Allowed Jamie Latham to round Casper Font's ball and walk it in for a second. He definitely will be one of the key items of the post-mortem of this victory relegation season, and not being able to capitalize and take advantage of the promising attacks they have had. Not in the sense they haven't been able to score, they have, but when they have scored, when they have taken leads, it has often been the challenge of that defense to hold on to them that has proved their undoing. So many games this season where they have coughed points up from losing positions. Lost 5 games this year after scoring first in the fixture, which, if you're looking to stay in a competition like this, is not something you can afford to do. It was a good win for them against Hume City last week, and very good win for those of a Dandenong City persuasion, but it was victory's first in 7. There have been no match so far for the other top 6 hopeful. As the ball comes in, Fon's ball punches, and it, fortunately for him, falls to a shirt with a chevron on. Habani with an up and under. Picked off by Sesnick. Really well read by the former Port Melbourne man. Another one of those players in their sophomore season with Dandenong City. Really kept a consistent core, as we mentioned in the first half of the matchday squad today. 9 players have stayed consistent from this season to the squad at the start of 2024, which is over 50% of today's matchday squad. Many of them, of course, joining Nick Tolios's Dandenong City revolution in 2022 and 2023. That corner drops at the back post and is just worked comfortably out of play by Corey Sewell. Looks as though victory will be making a couple of substitutions shortly. Latham to Vali Sesnick. Victory bringing a nice press here, and if James Lackey could have kept his feet, he might have been able to seriously put Webster under the cosh, but in any case, City worked their way around it all and are released on the left-hand side. Athieu. Sewell in support, and the switch of play not going to work out that time for Dandenong City. Looks like it's going to be substitutions for both sides. So Bill Theodoropoulos maybe with
Substitutes for Dandenong
one
City.
eye
Jackson
on
Lino
next
and
week,
David
making
Fuller,
some slightly earlier changes. Jackson Lino, the former Victory youth player, making his way onto the field alongside Diego Cuba, Danny Kim, and I believe Will Bauer, the players replaced. Aaron Brzezinski, you might have seen as well. Just the bottom of your picture is stripped and seemingly ready to come on. And indeed, he will. And the question is who he'll be replacing. And we didn't have to wait long for the answer here.
Aaron Brzezinski replaces Kane Razmowski.
Kane Razmowski, one of the more senior of these young academy heads who makes way. Probably, you would imagine, being a scholarship player, part of the A-League men's plans, maybe on a minutes restriction. You often see those players come off bang on the hour mark. And Aaron Brzezinski, his replacement, coming on for his 8th appearance of the season, having made his NPL Victoria debut earlier this year against Dandy City in May. Of course, we mentioned Jackson Lino's familiarity with the Melbourne Victory youth setup. He was a player for them in NPL 3. And if you're a Victory persuasion watching on, it of course will be a familiar name to you. Jackson's younger brother Franco, of course, recently returned to Victory from Norwegian side Viking. They both used to play together in Victory's youth side. Well-travelled campaigner. He was breaking through the ranks at Heidelberg before that. All the way back in season 2021 now. Knocked out of the afternoon air by John Kellis. Like he couldn't collect at the opposite side. Oh, Corey with a corkscrewing clearance. Not his finest effort. On over the head of Alessi. Of course, came on at half-time in place of George Mihalidis. Ooh, it's a bit of a tangle off the ball here, so we're going to have to wait for the throw of Tabena Abani, as Jack Morgan will have some sorting out to do first, and that might give us a quick time to whip around the grounds. Avondale still locked at 1 apiece with Green Gully. Altona remain 3 goals to the good against the relegated Melbourne Knights. Oakley 1-0 up against the 10-man South Melbourne. Port have equalised against Heidelberg United. Well. Preston Lions leading 2-0 against Dandenong Thunder, and it's a good thing that Dandenong City lead this one 3-0 because Hume have taken the lead against St Albans. Of course, if Dandenong City were still level in this game, that would be slightly nervier, but only a loss would guarantee with Hume City in the advantage that City would be dumped out of the finals. But dare I say it, 65 minutes played, Dandy City 3 goals to the good. That is looking that result brewing at Hume City, St Albans, a serious moot point at the present moment. I'll just issue a couple of corrections, some updates to that, the scorelines. I said Port Melbourne level with Heidelberg. Port Melbourne now lead Heidelberg United. Albani. Alessi. Did he use a hands to upend Tom Giannakopoulos? Well, either way, Jack Morgan has allowed play to continue. And Dandenong City can break away. It's going to deflect out for a Dandy City corner. And there is something about that feels very NPL Victoria, that Heidelberg United can go and take on the world and knock out A-League opponents in a swashbuckling fashion in the Australia Cup, only to lose to a relegated Port Melbourne on the final day of the NPL Victoria season. That's why we love it. As Dandenong City are going to try something a little different here. Deflected cross. Will it sit at the back stick? It's going to sit in the penalty area. Will Webster get a shooting angle? Oh my goodness, don't tell me that Jack Webster has nearly scored an outrageous back heel from the central defender. That would have been an incredible moment had it bowled to the back of the net. But not to be for Dandy City's captain. Fantastic. You do have to admire, though, the composure, the professionalism with which Dandy City have approached this fixture. Of course, you would have always expected them to win a game like this. It is, of course, never done in NPL Victoria. They have played out some thrilling goal fest victory, but time and the weight of numbers and the odds are against them. As that ball in, Athieu was there, but it's a wayward one from their line leader, their top scorer. But you never know what you're going to get from sides who are already relegated on the final day. Sometimes they turn up and they go through the motions. Other times they turn up and they throw up something you don't expect. But by and large, Dandenong City have taken to their task, knowing that they needed to win. Lovely stuff from Atharinos with a minimum of fuss, and are in control. Jackson Lino just pops it back. Oh, another back heel. Dandenong City, the last couple of minutes, we've had a back heel shot, a roulette from Tim Atharinos, a back heel from Jamie Latham there. They've stopped playing NPL and they've started playing FIFA Street, Dandy City. Webster with a delicate one. That lay down falls right into the lap of Tibeta Rabani. Try as he might, Daniel Lazarevsky can't make much of this. Webster with a clever and pressure-relieving pass. Atharinos. Received from Cuba. Chesnick and Atharinos. Another back heel and another brilliant one. The pass forward not quite as good as the one that preceded it. Lackey can't turn his marker in Corey Sewell. And it's looking very comfortable for Dandy City at the moment. And this game, certainly this seemed the predictable outcome. Oh, that is wonderful footwork in midfield. Forward for Athieu. And we'll find Sewell wide at the top of the box. The fast feet of Chesnick, and will this one sit up for a Dandy City shot? It won't. Lackey marches away with it in the opposite direction. But if 2 years ago, when Dandenong City scored through Riley Bidwar in the dying embers of a game against Bulleen Lions to promote this team to the top flight, if you told someone on that day that that same Dandy City side would not just make finals in their first season back in the big time, which is the first time I believe a side has ever done that. It's the first time certainly Dandy City have ever done that. But then that they would do it again the following year, someone would have looked at you funny. And they may add another to the tally. That one is just wayward in the end from Jamie Latham. And a special moment here for Melbourne Victory.
James
Silver lining amongst the clouds as James Lackey makes his departure to be replaced by 17-year-old NPL Victoria debutant James Heridas. Of course, you have already seen the Heridas name in the NPL this season. It's his twin brother playing alongside him at the Victory.
Well done, Val.
Both of them Joey's internationals, both of them trialling at Bayern Munich last year. Both of them now getting a taste of NPL Victoria football. A great moment for the number 31. Atherinos. It's a flat ball. A few trying to turn. Now here's Kenny A few. How did it not go in? It was Atherinos to Lino receiving from Matthew, and then a Victory body in the way. Denies a fourth for Dandy City. Great to see the intent from Hajduk, still hoping for icing on this finals cake. Cleared out by Victory. Going to stay in play for Webster? No, is the answer. I still can't believe that Jack Webster, the central defender, went for a back heel, no look from the breakdown of a corner and nearly scored. Oh, it's had some fantastic memories, Jack Webster, in his 337 top flight Victorian appearances. Multiple championships with the Bentley Greens, one of those coming under Nick Tolios, of course. He would have been talking about that one for a long time. Therinos tries he might, couldn't make that header. Heridas. Gorevsky. Played it every age group of Melbourne Victory's junior pathway. He's the 18-year-old. He's been fairly involved in midfield for the Young Bucks today. He is on the ball again. And again. Back to John Pykopoulos. These are always tense and terse moments for Victory as they look to work it out from the back. Been picked off a little bit too easily in these phases, but they've played their way through this one nicely. And Abani is on a one-man mission to pull something back for the youngsters. And they weren't far away either. Crashing in at the back post. There's an amalgam of Dandenong City and Melbourne Victory players. I fancy Daniel Lazarevsky was the player flying in to try and turn that one home. And there's some busyness to be done here at the home of the Matildas, because at one end of the ground, Victory have a player receiving treatment, and at the other, Dandenong City are making a double substitution. And it's not one that Victory will like to see. Donny Gurditch, the mid-season signing from Sydney Olympic, to replace Jack Webster. So Bill Theodoropoulos is going to give some of his series seasoned campaigners a rest. And this is the one that Victory will not want to see coming. Jamie Latham, his day is done. Replacing him, Brad Plant, who scored twice off the bench against the Victory the last time these two sides met on the 9th of May. Brad Plant having scored all 5 of his goals for the season off the bench, which makes him their 3rd top scorer. It's not a bad return for a man who has featured off the pine 13 times, to go with 4 starts this year for the Englishman. Victory, it would appear, have been restored to their full complement. Atharinos. Lovely flick. Great football from Dandy City. Plants with his first touches. And there's zippy ones as well. Cuba. Atharinos restoring possession to his teammate. If this is ending in a goal, it'll be wonderful, but it's burned in the end by Jackson Leno. It was a passing move that deserved a finishing touch, but unfortunately Jackson Leno, who hasn't scored in NPL Victoria since the 5th of March 2021, it's the opening round of the NPL Victoria season.
Substitution for Melbourne Victory. Nicholas
Not going to score that time around either.
Enter for Daniel Lazarevsky and Tabena Abani.
And there is Boris Seroshtan responding with a double substitution of his own. Tabena Abani and Daniel Lazarevsky, who went down under that earlier challenge and did return to the field looking a little ginger. Both replaced. Nick Savicevic coming into the defence, and Malik Olakale coming in as well, as that is not purely struck by John Kellis. It's really the first time that Pierce Clark has had to make a meaningful save. Malik Olakale, number 37, one to watch out for. 16 years old. Made his senior debut, I think, when he was still 15 earlier this year against South Melbourne at Lakeside. Only played 41 minutes so far, so he's going to add some serious minutes to that tally today. As Heridis was always fighting against the weight of numbers there. Backing up Brad Plant, taken off his toes. Bit of a change in, well, not shape for Victory, but a few switcheroos in personnel. Going to those substitutions, as City have got a player on the turf that will require some attention. Malik Olakale would be no stranger to this particular venue. Of course, it is the home of Melbourne Victory. You don't need me to tell you that, but it was also the venue for the Emerging Socceroos Championships last month, where Malakala Kale again represented the great state of Victoria. Dandenong City will make their final change of the afternoon, it appears. It's a welcome return for Yaga Mustafa. You can see him
Substitution for Dandenong City.
in Dandenong City colours since the 1st of August, and it's an unfortunate end to the afternoon's proceedings for Thomas Giannakopoulos. And of course, was the player that went down to force this game into a stoppage. Hopefully nothing too serious. Not a player that Nick Tolios and Bill Theodoropoulos would want to lose going into a massive first week of finals and potentially more. Zatharinos looks to thread it inside, but nothing doing. That time around for Dandy City. Quick around the ground refresh. No major change to the layout of the NPL Victoria table. Dandenong City still comfortable in 6th. Still on course to play Dandenong Thunder in the first week of finals. I dare say that is a situation that will not be changing. Oakley 3 goals to the good against a 10-man South Melbourne. Preston leading Thunder 2-0 on their home deck. I would say our finals picture is just about set with 8 minutes left to play on the final day. Melbourne Victory looking to end on a positive note with a consolatory goal. Heidelberg looking to kickstart the finals party with a 4th. It's a expected result for Victory. Well, these were not the days where the damage is done. I'll look back on games that perhaps they could have, should have won on a different day. Games they led against big fish. Games where they were able to fight back but couldn't hold on. Losses to Avondale, Hume, Dandenong Thunder. Often here at the home of the Matildas are games that spring to mind. But the real killers were the ones against them on the ones against teams close to them on the table at the crunch point of this season, offering up points to Melbourne Knights, who will finish below them on the table, and Port Melbourne, who, as things stand, will be doing exactly the same. Those are the games that could have made the difference. And City look to send them through to the post-season with an exclamation point. Sesnik bent in. Athiu, did it come off an arm? No. City with plenty of numbers forward. Sesnik lifting it in. And will it sit up? Not quite. For Yagub Mustafa. Final touch came off Casper Fonsbol, who's probably been one of the better players for Victory today. Hasn't been regularly involved, but has made some good saves when needed. Oh, when he's in trouble here, he had to react quickly to that cross. It was dipping and swerving and betwixt and between. It's had no shortage of attention, the victory net this afternoon. Boosted forward by Clark. A few winning in the air. Gorevsky. It's a delicate turn. It's a decent ball too for Alessi. Haven't been able to find a lot of penetration through those central areas, and that penetrating drive is no real danger, even if he dove for Pierce Clark. Both teams feeling fairly resigned to what's to come, albeit with very different moods about what is to come. Positive news for Victory. They know that they can win and be competitive at VPL 1 level. Of course, the championship winners last season in that competition. But anyone who has been relegated out of NPL Victoria will tell you it is very, very hard to yo-yo. Not every team is Dandenong City. And many of them have spent years trying to get back up. Some of them never have. Mustafa just runs out of ideas. Says Nick. Back to Donny Gurdic. In Naba. Mustafa heading for home. I mean, talk about how long it can take you to return to the top flight from the second tier. Don't need to tell Victory twice. Took them a good 9 years to get back here. And even though it will be the same result as their only other previous season in the top flight, relegation, they have been a far more competitive side this year than A, their results may suggest, but B, than they were all those years back in 2016. Just the 3 wins, 1 draw and 22 defeats. Back in the mid-2010s in that year. More points, more goals, less goals conceded. In many ways, they've reminded me a lot of Manningham United last year, in that they may not win a lot of close and goal-laden games that they play in, but they will be competitive. They will make for entertaining viewing. They might look to make it entertaining finish here. It's a decent block, though, by this Dandenong City defence. Dandenong City. Brad Plant has done the defending for Victory that time around. To imagine, though, Dandenong City, they are about to head into the NPL Victoria finals undefeated in their last 9 games. Pushed wide by Patrick Wall. Decent right-footed bender. Chesnick gets it away as we enter stoppage time at the home of the Matildas. Olakale. Fast footwork from the youngster. Deflected cross. easy pickings for Pierce Clark. Well, those 9 games undefeated have been 4 wins and 5 draws for City. I reckon they'll go into the finals with a fair bit of confidence that they could potentially spring a surprise from 6. The big challenge will be beating a Dandenong Thunder side who have managed to get the better of them or break their hearts on a number of occasions. But you look at their recent run of results, and they took points off Avondale. They took points off Heidelberg United. They have beaten Oakley as well, 1-0 in between that stretch of games. They will absolutely be fancying themselves of throwing up a surprise or two in the postseason. Mustafa. Seconds away now. Our City from the finals. Not much left in this one at the home of the Matildas. It's a game that Dandy City have largely controlled from start to finish. They had their destiny in their own hands going into the final day. And all they have done this afternoon is taken more firmer grip, as that's a poor one in the end from Lucas Alessi. And it brings to an end the regular season at the home of the Matildas. And Dandenong City are going back-to-back in the finals race in NPL Victoria. 3-0 domination on the final day sets them up for a tantalising Dandy Derby showdown with the Thunder in third in the first week of finals. They took their time to take the lead, 40 minutes of knocking at the damn wall without it breaking, before Will Bauer opened the scoring to set about a goal avalanche either side of the break. Jamie Latham adding another within minutes, before Kenny Athieu brought up an even dozen for the season for him right after the recommencement of play for the second half. Melbourne Victory, they will return to the second tier with a bit of a whimper, but positives to take over the course of this season, certainly from some of the individual campaigns players have had. But Dandenong City will go marching on to the postseason once more. And all eyes on a massive first week of finals as an epic season of NPL Victoria comes to a close. We sign off from the home of the Matildas for the final time in season 2025. From myself, Lockie Flanagan, and from Sportscast Victoria, it's goodbye for now. The full-time score, Melbourne Victory 0, Dandenong City 3, Hajduk en route to the elimination finals.
Oh, yeah.